All right, let's talk about that moment. You know the one. You spend all this time making your hair look perfect. You step outside into that thick, soupy summer air, and poof, Frizz City. It happens to all of us. But today, we are going to solve it. We're diving into an expert review that puts some of the biggest products to the test to find the ultimate humidity-proof champion.
And come on, let's be honest. For so many of us, the answer is a big, fat yes. That feeling when the heat just hits you and your hair immediately decides it's got a mind of its own? Well, the folks behind this explainer call it public enemy number one for a reason, and they were dead set on finding a real solution.
So here's the setup. A team of hair experts, and we'll get to them in a second, took 3 super popular products and put them through an absolute stress test. We're talking what one of them literally called biblical humidity. So stick around because we're going to break down exactly what they found and crown the winner.
Okay, first things first. Let's meet the contenders in this big Frizz showdown. And, just as important, let's meet the pros who put them through their paces. Because when it comes to hair advice, you want to hear from people who've actually been in the trenches.
Here they are. In one corner, we've got a couple of heavy-hitting oils, the Moroccanoil Treatment Purple and the Verb Hydrate Oil. And in the other corner, a totally different approach, the lighter, mistable Moroccanoil Frizz Shield Spray. 3 products, 3 different ways to tackle the same annoying problem.
So why should we listen to these two? Well, simply put, they're the real deal. You've got Ed Shears, who says he has decades in the trenches of hair testing. Then there's his partner, Stacey B., an expert on aging hair with over 30 years of experience. I mean, come on. Together they've tested literally hundreds of products in real studio conditions. They know what they're talking about.
And now for the really fun part, the test itself. And listen, this was not some sterile lab experiment with perfect conditions. Oh no. They threw these products into a real-world gauntlet to see if they could actually hold up when things got ugly.
And just look at what they were dealing with, 94 degrees Fahrenheit. But the real killer? That dew point of 74. If you don't know, the dew point is what really tells you how much moisture is in the air, and 74 is just oppressive. It's that soupy, sticky air where your hair just wants to explode. This is peak frizz territory.
And here's the truly wild part. Even with that insane humidity, the top oils actually worked. They were up against biblical conditions, and the results? No frizz, 0 greasy feeling, softness that lasted all day, and get this, even a noticeable thickening effect. That is a massive win.
Okay, so we know the oils were miracle workers, but how do they really stack up against each other? And what about that Frizz Shield Spray? This is where we get into the nitty-gritty. We're talking performance, cost, and most importantly, which one is right for you.
Let's break this chart down. You can see right away both oils get an excellent for frizz control. The Moroccanoil Purple Oil gives you a little more of that thickening effect. The spray, still really good, but it's really designed for finer hair, and you have to use heat with it. But whoa, stop and look at that last row, the price. The difference per ounce is pretty staggering.
And this bar chart just makes it crystal clear that Moroccanoil Purple Oil is definitely a luxury product, coming in at over $22 an ounce. But then you have the Verb oil, which the experts said gave pretty much the same results for half the price. And the Frizz Shield Spray is by far the most budget-friendly option. So it really shows you're paying for different things: concentration, application, you name it.
You know, this slide really simplifies the whole thing. It just comes down to what you need. Are you fighting an all-out war against that hardcore biblical humidity? Then you need an oil, period. It coats your hair better, it lasts way longer. But if you're just looking for some daily smoothness and light control, especially when you blow dry, that lightweight spray is going to be your best friend. And if you need one final word on the matter, here it is from expert Ed Shears. When the conditions are at their absolute worst, his advice couldn't be clearer. Go oil, every time. I mean, that's a pretty powerful statement for anyone who needs that maximum level of protection.
Okay, you've seen the data. You've heard from the pros. Now let's make this personal. Let's build your Frizz-Free game plan. It's time to pick your fighter and, just as important, learn how to use it like an absolute pro. So here it is, the final verdict, nice and simple. Go for the Moroccanoil Purple Oil if you've got color-treated hair and you just love that luxury feel. Choose the Verb Hydrate Oil if you want that same awesome power, but at a price that's a little easier to swallow. And grab the Frizz Shield Spray if your hair is on the fine to medium side and you're a daily blow dryer user. Look, the experts are the first to admit these oils aren't exactly cheap, but I love how they frame it. Invest in your hair and your sanity. Think about it. One bottle can last you the whole summer, and the value of not having that daily frustration with your hair?
For a lot of us, that's an investment that's totally worth making.
And finally, this part is absolutely critical. It doesn't matter what you buy if you don't apply it right. You have to start small, just a tiny pea-sized amount. Then, and this is a non-negotiable step, warm it up by rubbing your hands together. Then you gently rake it through from the middle of your hair to the ends. Stay away from the roots. And remember what the expert said. Don't go full splash mode. Less is always more.
So there you have it. You've got the data, the expert advice, the pro tips. You now have the entire playbook for conquering summer humidity once and for all. So the only real question left is, which frizz fighter are you going to choose?
Hey, if this video helped you out, a quick visit to our site or a share goes a long way.